Well, thank you for staying with us. Shaibu Maje joins us this morning. He's chairman of Suleja Local Government and he's also chairman Interim Management Committee of ALGON. Thanks for joining us this morning. Let me ask you this straight away. Many people say, well, the facts obvious from all that's available to us in public domain is many states are facing cash crunch. Do you agree?
Yeah, good morning. To some extent, I agree with you. So many states are facing financial problem due to the economic of the country, and also the local government council that we have in Nigeria, that is 774 local government, are also facing a financial issue due to the lack of autonomy and some challenges affecting the local government from the source, that is from the FAC.
Well, what do you think is responsible? I mean, it would seem like the Constitution is clear about how the local governments should be administered. They have their own executive, legislature, and judiciary, but it would seem like that's not happening right now. Exactly what do you think is responsible for the local governments not being autonomous?
Yeah, that is one of the problems facing the local government, and also it also affects, it's also the reason why we're having so many security challenges in the country. Lack of local government and autonomy in Nigeria is seriously affecting the country generally in all aspects, not just security issues. If local government were given full autonomy to operate, just like the Constitution, I believe so many challenges will be tackled at the grassroots, because local government administration are the closest to the people. They are the closest to the grassroots. They live with the people at all the time. But because of lack of full autonomy and lack of resources at the local government level, you will find out in most time there are challenges of security that the executive chairman or the executive at the local government, they lack funds to tackle those challenges.
But the question I ask you is, why are they not autonomous at this time? The Constitution makes it clear that they ought to be autonomous. What kind of engagements are we having with the Houses of Assembly to ensure that the executive of each state does the needful, which is to ensure that local governments are autonomous?
Yeah, the National Assembly has done their own part on the issue of autonomous, but there are some states, you know, 2/3 of the state in the country have, the state assembly of the country has to also allow the local government to operate fully. But in this case, so many states or so many governors don't want to allow the local government to operate fully. But in some states, presently, there are some governors that allow the chairman to have full control of their resources, even though there is a joint account. But whenever there is FAC at the end of the month, the allocations of local government go to the joint account. Then those governors allow the local government to decide on what to do with their funds. So we call it a partial autonomy. But just like what Mr. President wants, for local government to have their full autonomy. So we are hoping that the governors should also allow full autonomy in local government administration.
Now, my question, Mr. Maje, is the state houses of assembly have representation from every local government. What kind of engagement are the members there having with their constituents at their local governments where they came from? They came from local governments to represent their people in the State House of Assembly. So if is it that the local governments themselves do not want to be autonomous, or that the members of the state houses of assembly are not representing their people the way they ought? What kind of questions are we asking these members of the state houses of assembly?
That is exactly what I'm talking about. Just like you said, the state assembly members came from each local government. So they are supposed to support the issues of local government autonomy. But what is happening at various state assembly, you find out that the members of the state assembly don't want to allow the local government to function well, because you know, the Constitution allowed the state assembly to regulate the laws in the local government. So what we are seeking as a local government is for the state assembly to allow to represent their constituents, to represent their local government by allowing the autonomy to function.
Well, let me ask you, do you think the state houses of assembly would agree with you that lack of autonomy for local government administrations in their various states is partly responsible for insecurity in the state?
Yes. Lack of autonomy in our various local government or in the country, local government autonomy is part of the reason why today we are facing so many security challenges. Just like I said earlier on, if local government are given full autonomy, the executives and also the local government legislatures, they will be able to come together and use the resources available to them to tackle the security challenges and other problem that is facing people at the grassroots.
Now, in the event that it happens that you know, the state houses of assembly do not do the needful, and some governors, as you say, do not still agree that local governments ought to be autonomous, what is the last position of ALGON? What will ALGON do?
Yeah, I think our position, very soon we're going to take action also, just like what is happening at the judiciary and the state assembly right now. They have a right for their own autonomy, but some governors have denied them, even though discussion is been on for them to resolve issues of their autonomy, that is the judiciary and also the state assembly. ALGON will also work with the Nolge representative or the Nolge executive and also the labor to see how they can come together for local government to have their own autonomy.
Is this coming together pointing in the way of an industrial action?
It can lead to that, but I'm not praying for that to happen. I believe if we start our own discussion, we'll be able to sort it out amicably without going for any industrial action.
Has any conversation started with the state governors?
Because there are so many governors. Presently, there are governors that have given autonomy to their own state. For example, my own state, since my governor came into power in 2015, he has never interfered with local government funds. He allows us to operate the way we want. He only supervises us so that to make sure the funds available to local government in Niger State have been utilized properly.
Okay. Well, Mr. Majek, just give me a few minutes to take a few messages. We'll be right back to continue this conversation. Thanks for staying with us. Shaibu Maje is still with us in our Abuja studio. He is Chairman, Interim Management Committee of ALGON. So, is there a timeline in mind for ensuring that all states have autonomous local government administrations?
For now, we in ALGON, we have not decided that yet because of the little challenges we're having on the leadership in ALGON. And that is why I emerge as the IMC chairman of ALGON, due to the challenge we'll be having with the past leadership. which happened to be an illegal leadership. And for that reason, the leadership then are not doing anything towards getting local government autonomy. What they're after is something different. But with the emergence of the IMC, it's for us to see how we can conduct another election and bring on board a leadership that will take the affairs of ALGON generally in the country, so that we can be able to tackle all these challenges that is facing us in our various local government, most importantly, the autonomy issue.
Well, I was going to ask you about that one as well, that it seems that some members of your association are not on the same page. Some of them do not agree that local governments should be autonomous. Is that a fact?
Yeah, it's a fact that some members, I don't see them as our members, because the leaders of that member is not even a member of ALGON. He came from a development area council, which is not part of the 774 local government that we have in Nigeria, that the constitution recognizes. That is Kolade Alabi David, who happened to be a chairman of Bariga LCDA in Lagos. He's not a member of ALGON, but he found his way by telling the NEC members of ALGON, then he's representing Lagos, and he's a chairman of Shomolu Bariga. And in the country, we don't have any local government called Shomolu Bariga Local Government Council. We only have Shomolu and local government. But he came from an LCDA, a local government that was created by Lagos State House of Assembly. And on that, he's not part of ALGON, and he found his way to become ALGON president. And we, the members of the General Assembly, come together as the highest decision body and dissolve that leadership and set up a committee, that is the IMC, to take the affairs of ALGON, so that we can fix all the wrongs. And along the line, the faction emerged, and we went to court. And at the end, we have an interim injunction, that is an order that stopped Kolade Alabi David and his led faction from parading themselves as ALGON leadership, and also directed the inauguration of the interim management committee to take the affairs of ALGON, pending determination of the main suit in the court. So presently, we are on board. We are the ALGON leadership now, and we have about 6 months to conduct another election so that we can bring on board another leadership that will take the affairs of ALGON. But on that, we're still going to go on with all the activities on the challenges that is really facing us, issues of lack of funds at our various local government because of court orders that says our money or local government funds should be deducted from the source every month in billions of nairas on issues that there are some consultants that Alabi Kolade David engaged to carry out some project in our various local government or consultancy service, whereby you find that there is no single project that is being executed in any local government, but billions of nairas are being deducted from the source. So those are the challenges that we've been having. They are only after conniving with consultants and contractors on how to steal local government from the source using court orders, going to court and connive with their own lawyers so that they can get court order for them to get local government funds being deducted. So you find out at every end of the month, local government money has been deducted from the source, and the amount that is supposed to get to the local government council is not. So then that is where you find out some local government cannot even pay their staff salary, not to talk of having access to execute capital project. So, but very soon we are going to tackle all those challenges, and everything will come back to normal. Then we'll have a timeline on how we are going to talk about this issue of autonomy and all that.
Well, clearly there are still some hurdles for ALGON to clear before we can do the needful about this local government autonomy, but so many other things to raise with you, but we're completely out of time. So we have to thank you very much for being a part of this conversation. This morning, Shaibu Maje is Chairman, Suleja Local Government Area, as well as Chairman, Interim Management Committee of ALGON. Thank you so much for your time and thoughts this morning.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yes, your messages are next in our conversation this morning. About job creation, we have this one from Comrade Dari, who says, job creation is beyond focusing on a specific area of discipline known as digital economy. If government is genuine about job creation for the massive number of unemployed youths in Nigeria, there must be a concise approach in place to change the education's curriculum. Bruce Wade says, first, presidency should be rotational, Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, Ijaw, and so on. That's the first step to making Nigeria a great nation. Secondly, Nigeria needs a cultural unification so we can understand each other's differences more. And thirdly, corruption is the biggest setback in Nigeria. And this one from Adewale Debra says, Nigeria, all we need is prayers. Interesting. And we have this one about power supply from Mofosi, who says, people are helpless at the state of power supply nationwide. How do you allow tariff increase without improved service quality? Government's core responsibility should be quality service to its citizens. Is the NERC for the discos or for Nigerian citizens? Oh, wow, so many other issues to raise, but seen your comments as well, Oshinawa Kingsley, and a number of others that we have seen. That's Sunrise Daily this morning. Another one will be here again tomorrow. In the meantime, have a wonderful day and please keep safe. Bye for now.